Really, this film is about the power of music and how it can transport you back to any point in time. Just by hearing a song again, you're transported. Like you could listen to What Does the Fox Say? And you're transported to that time where you're like, man, I remember sitting in front of my computer, watching this on YouTube for the very first time. What a day. What a day. This is the greatest hits. This is currently on Hulu, and it has audio description. So click subscribe, because we're going to talk about it. I'm John Stark. I'm a blind film critic, which is why I said it has audio description. It's because I use those tracks. Those are my greatest hits. And this film stars Lucy Boynton and Justin H. Min. Really Lucy Boynton, and then Justin H. Min kind of just shows up and is like, what's up? I was in Shortcomings. And she's like, nah, get out of my film. So Lucy plays a young woman who is grieving the loss of her boyfriend after a terrible accident in which they were arguing, so she feels even more guilty. And there aren't that many people in the cast, actually. There are a couple like extras floating around, but there's really just like her, the flashbacks of her boyfriend, Max. There's another character that's like her, I want to say gay best friend, but I actually can't remember him saying the words "I'm gay," but he just feels like a gay best friend character. Who's a DJ who floats in and out of the film. And then there's Justin H. Min's character, David, who she ends up meeting at a support group, at a grief support group. So it's kind of weird and kind of icky when he like starts hitting on her, like immediately. It's a little weird. But then again, Justin H. Min, I wasn't like a massive fan of Shortcomings. I'm mentioning it because it's the most recent thing that I've seen him in. Whereas Lucy Boynton, yes, I've seen her in things, but not like within the last 6 months. So like Shortcomings is fresh in my memory. Lucy's stuff is sort of more in the past, and I get to reminisce back on it with those, like, as I say, those rose-colored glasses, and so everything of hers just seems like pure gold. Although apparently she was one of the many Barbies, but that's what you get when you're blind and you can't see, and then you don't see all the little like cameos popping up. So, I didn't notice. This is this is a film that I think some people are going to really like, and then some people are not going to like. I think it's going to be a mixed bag. For a while, I was really into it. And then I started pulling out of it. And then I think they actually came back around and actually did something cool with it at the end. So it was a ride for me, was this film. What worked for me was Lucy Boynton. I thought she delivered a rather sturdy performance. I thought it was really nice. She managed grief as well as just being able to exude her own personality and give us an idea of the kind of character she once was, especially in the flashback sequences. She comes out a lot more, when she's either with Max or as she starts to open up a little bit more to David. I think she's really the heart of the film, and how much you care about this is going to really depend on her. There's a little bit of About Time in here, that film, if anybody remembers how that film worked. The problem is that I didn't really care about anyone else. So it's sort of like About Time if all you cared about were the leads and you didn't really care if they jumped back in time and saved or didn't save, or you just wanted their storyline to be okay. That's kind of how I felt about this with Lucy Boynton. Um, David's storyline, why he's at the grief group, is just not really given the same sort of weight or screen time or anything like that. He's definitely not. You would think that he's a co-lead, but he's not. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like he's just like another character that stumbles into her life. He's there because his parents died and like left him the house, and there's some complicated stuff that go along with his parents' death, and he's got a sister and trying to look after him. Anyway, it's a fine performance. It's just not really. It's like they didn't want to put two people on the same path, because he's not the one that's having the connection to music and to speakers and has to wear headphones, and his character isn't really that interesting. His character is just sort of floating through life. His character is comfortable enough that after he trips over chairs walking into the first support group meeting, he has no problem hitting on Lucy Boynton's character at a grief support group meeting. Mind you, not AA, not NA, but a grief group. And she kind of also was talking and then kind of stopped because he kind of like bumbles his way into the room. So he didn't even really get her story. It's just, and it's so hard to like this guy. And then like at the end of the film, they've got all the feels, and I'm like, I don't know that this is really earned. Um, I don't know that he earned being here. He never stopped being a weirdo creep. She just kind of like was like, oh, I like weirdos. Welcome to my life. Um, yeah. So Lucy Boynton is charming and delightful, and has a lot of deep stuff to convey through her character, and she's the reason to watch this. The film plays around with time travel. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. It does, with either the possibility of it, the concept of it, the is it real? Can I do this? Like, yeah, I mean, it talks about it a lot. Like, is she just having memories, or is she full on time traveling? Are they just really vivid memories, or is the music actually transporting her, like literally, out of her reality back to the past? So, you'll find out by the end, but it does answer that question. It's not like one of those like concepts where it just is like you decide. Was it real? Was it not? Well, yeah, it tells you. Um, Audio description on this I thought was okay. Actually, I was pretty surprised it was roundabout. I normally don't like their stuff. I didn't have a problem with this audio description. I thought it did a lot of stuff that was really well, especially around when she's having her experiences, and she's about to time travel. There's some stuff like, like little, like, I guess, like blue light around her. She has sort of like a collage of memories, and I thought, it described that rather well, especially when it was backed up to like 2019. So yeah, there were some really specific things here that were brought in. There's a dog that's in this that they track, that, again, nonverbal characters are important. There's they're in a record store, so we see albums. There's a whole bunch of like little details that I thought they did a really good job tracking that I normally would not be able to say about Roundabout. But hey, if Roundabout is growing and getting better, I'm okay with that. So kudos to Roundabout for this better than expected audio description track. I wasn't expecting to hear Roundabout at the end of this, but I will put this in my pocket and remember it. And the next time I hear Roundabout, I'll be expecting more and more that they've grown into producing better quality audio description instead of just sort of like mediocre audio description. I think this track is pretty good. So give it a listen, check it out. Um, it doesn't really go a whole lot into like the racial specifics of casting of the characters, especially David. Justin H. Min is obviously Asian. But it just, it doesn't really talk about that. It's like, whoop, we'll move past that. So if you're looking for representation, I mean, that still isn't here, but that's like a recurring problem across so many audio description tracks that I bring it up all the time. You would think that I'm bringing it up because I need to know where race is, but it's because generally when I talk to people who are of, other races, they like to know when they're on screen as well, and they don't necessarily. There are people who like me, know a little bit more about actors and know who is what, who, where they come from and backgrounds, and I can link them to 10 different roles they've done. But then there are people who just turn on a film, and to them, Justin H. Min is not a name. Lucy Boynton's not a name. And they don't know who these people are, and they don't know what they look like, and they just need really strong descriptions of these actors and their characters. So it just doesn't happen. We just dodge it. We just don't want to have that conversation. But I'll have it on here. That's what you do on YouTube, is just have weird conversations about things. So anyway, check out The Greatest Hits. I thought it was pretty good. It kind of sags for me in the time when she starts getting involved with David, because I feel like there are some things that they never really tackle with David's character. He just sort of feels like uncomfortable in the film. She gets into it way too much with him right up at the beginning. Like, he's like, it's not weird at all that it's like, hi, we're in a grief group. Oh, you're hitting on me? Cool. I like this. I know that I'm here because my boyfriend died, and then later on I'm going to have problems with this because I feel like I'm cheating on my boyfriend. But yeah, I'll absolutely flirt back with you, and then we'll have this weird back and forth relationship. She should have been more conflicted with it from the beginning, and they should have done a better job of developing his character. But so again, not a perfect film. I kind of understand why they were like, why don't we send this to Hulu? Yeah, because that makes sense. Anyway, but I do think it's rewarding. I think there's some cool stuff here. I kind of wish the music had been like really like recognizable, and they made sort of a big deal about, go ahead and pay for songs, and get us to really listen to the song and bring us in on it. I think that would have been cool. But anyway, I'm gonna give The Greatest Hits a B. I think it's a strong film. I don't think it's not gonna win any awards this year, but it was worth watching. So thanks to Searchlight for picking it up, even if you did send it to Hulu. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will watch something else and see you guys on the other side.